right there.
All
All
right.
right. Hello.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Money Monday.
Hello, everyone. Happy
Today we are
Monday.
here with Dina. Dina, it's early for you. What is it, 8:30?
8:30 California time. It's a beautiful day.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice. Southern California, right?
Yes, Southern California, just north of Los Angeles.
Okay. Okay.
That's nice.
And I'm here in kind of rainy. Oh, it's starting to rain here in the city of Chicago. Yay.
I'm having a beautiful sunny day, so that's great.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'd love anyone jumping on to share where they're coming from today and how they're doing on this Monday.
Yep.
We're in for a good week.
Yep. We are in for a great week. We're going to manifest a great week.
Yes.
Maggie jumped on Instagram and talked about manifestation and thankfulness and how grateful we are and all that we have. And so it's Monday and we're kicking off an amazing week. So there you go.
Good.
Yeah.
It's all about abundance and thankfulness.
Yeah.
Enjoying what you got.
Yeah. And I just want to introduce Purse Strings.
What, you're a little fuzzy right there.
Why does that happen?
I don't know. You're good now.
Okay. So Purse Strings was created to provide women free online tools and resources so they can make smart financial decisions, both for themselves and for their families, because we're all about family. Women are all about their families. Moreover, we look high and low for the best financial professionals, all things financial, who really know how to serve a female market, really want to serve a female market, really understand the plight of women, and really want to work as a partner with them in their financial journey. And that's who we have today. It's Dina. She's one of our Purse Strings approved financial professionals, and she's going to talk about life insurance today. And we have a lot of discussions around life insurance because so often women either think I'm covered at work, or I'm a stay-at-home mom, I don't need it, or it's too expensive. Do I really need it? And women really need it. It's a sense of security, which is what we're all about. Women are about security, and they're about protection of themselves and their family. And Dina's going to talk about all of that today and why it's so important. So if you have life insurance questions, I know it can sound complicated, term, perm, all of those kind of terminologies. We're going to just answer all your life insurance questions and really review why it's so important from the expert, Dina.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm gonna read your introduction and your bio just so everyone knows a little bit more about you. So this is Dina. She shops the market for the best options to protect clients and their families. She specializes in life and long-term care insurance and really sees the value in the hybrid combination products. She is a wife, mom, daughter, sister, and a friend to many, and she believes in protection. The ramifications of dying too soon and living too long can be catastrophic to ourselves and our loved ones. She strives to be a resource and expert in her field so women can make informed decisions and sleep at night knowing they will be protected, which is so important. So Dina, we'll give you the floor.
Awesome. Hello. Thanks, Maggie. Thanks, Dr. Barb. I'm excited to be here. I'm sorry this topic is about life insurance on a Monday morning, but I think it's really important, and I called it Life Insurance 101. So what we'll do is we'll kind of take a little spin off the distance learning and learn a little bit about life insurance this morning. So I'm Dina Mabry, like Maggie said, and I put together just a quick PowerPoint. We won't take a lot of time, but we'll just talk about life insurance. And the first topic that I want to discuss is life insurance with the pandemic. There have been so many deaths this past year, as everyone knows, and the United States actually had a sad record hit in 2020 with over 3 million lives lost. And that is a record. And not all of those, of course, were COVID related, but heart disease, accidents, and various other ailments. But 3 million lives lost. And then I think what the latest statistic was is about 550,000 due to COVID. So the pandemic has really caused clients to stop and think about their own mortality and say, wait, am I protected? If I wasn't here, what would happen to my family and what would happen to my business? So the question is, Who needs life insurance? Well, if you weren't here, would your family suffer a tremendous financial loss? Or if you weren't here, would your business suffer a tremendous financial loss? And if that question is, or that answer is yes, then you need life insurance. Term versus permanent. So let's talk about life insurance. You can get the cheapest life insurance on the market, or you can get expensive life insurance. And I'm here to say that if you were to pass away, no one is going to question whether your life insurance was expensive or whether your life insurance was inexpensive. The question is going to be is, oh my gosh, I hope they had life insurance. I hope that family had life insurance. So I am here to say, get the cheapest life insurance or the life insurance that you can afford, but get something. That is so important. So term insurance. Term insurance comes in various terms. You can get term insurance that locks in the price for 10 years, 15 years, 25 years, 30 years, and that would all depend on your particular situation, whether you have small children, maybe how long your mortgage is, how old you are, and we can definitely shop the market and look at those prices for you. Permanent insurance is permanent insurance. It goes your whole life. So I guess the question is, do you want to protect yourself and your family or your business for a certain length of time, or do you want to protect forever until maybe you live to be 100? That's the question, term versus permanent, and we can definitely look at those prices. And then I wrote other options available. There is a whole market out there that a lot of clients don't know about, and it's life insurance with living benefits. So what does that mean? That means that you have a bucket of money, so should you pass away, that money will go tax-free to your beneficiaries. But if you're alive and you need to access that money, you can. If you have a chronic illness, a terminal illness, a critical illness, or you need long-term care, you can access that money tax-free to take care of yourself. So those are called living benefits, and a lot of carriers have that built in to their life insurance policies. And then reviewing in-force policies, I see a lot of people come to me and they think they have something that they don't have. For example, term insurance. Let's say, for example, you bought a 20-year term in 2010, which just means that that premium is going to remain for 20 years. It's going to be the same price for all 20 years. But at the end of the 20th year, when the term goes up, you can still keep the insurance, but the premium goes through the roof. You would never keep and pay that premium. But where the discrepancy comes is in the policy, it'll say you have a life insurance policy that goes to, let's say, 2060. Well, yes, you do, but you would never be able to afford those premiums. So you need to know what you have in force and know how long you could afford to pay those premiums. If it's a 20-year term, you're really only going to keep it for 20 years. And then reviewing your beneficiaries, that is so important. Make sure you pull your policies and look at your beneficiaries. We just had a client who had a life insurance policy before when she was married, and then the divorce decree said something different than the beneficiary designation on the life insurance policy, and her ex-husband recently passed away. So now she's having to hire attorneys, and they're having to figure out what he meant by what he said in the divorce decree versus what it says on the policy. So make sure you review your policies and make sure everything is in a line. How much do I need? That's always the question. People will call me and say, how much life insurance do I need? Well, the rule of thumb is you can get about 15 to 20 times your annual income. So let's say you make $100,000, you can get about $1.5 to $2 million worth of life insurance. That would be the insurable interest and what you could qualify for financially. But then I go back to, well, how much premium do you want to pay? And then you have to look at things like how many children you would need to educate should you not be here, maybe your mortgage, your other expenses, because really what you're doing is you're replacing your income, you're replacing your loss. And I know no amount of money would ever replace a parent or anyone. So it's hard to put a number on that. So we usually back into it saying, well, let's look at premiums. And then of course you need to look at underwriting. So if you're sick, it's going to cost more than if you're young and healthy. So that's one consideration to look at as well. Let me touch on underwriting. So we have all the carriers, and some carriers are just really stubborn on certain things. Like we have carriers that are just really bad with diabetics, or they're really bad with heart disease, or they're even bad with marijuana smokers. So it's important to know which carrier you're going to and why. And that's where it's important to shop the market. You never want to go to somebody and just buy whatever one product they may be talking about. You need to say, well, wait a minute, let's look at all the products, let's look at all the carriers, and let's figure out what's best for me. That's important. And then I have to say this, you have to avoid GoFundMe. If you do not have a life insurance policy, it's going to be a GoFundMe. And GoFundMe is not a life insurance policy. It makes people feel very uncomfortable for the person who puts forth the GoFundMe asking for money. And then it makes people that give the money feel uncomfortable because it's never enough. So they don't know how, $25, $100, it's never enough. Life insurance is the only way to protect your family and protect your business with tax-free money. So avoid the GoFundMe. When I see that, I'll see it in our local newspaper and I just cringe and think, wow. I'll never forget a story when I first got into the business in 2007. We had a single mom go off the freeway and she died in a car accident. It was tragic. She had 3 children and no life insurance. And I remember running the numbers of a 32-year-old perfectly healthy female. How much would that cost? She could have had $500,000 go to her family for about $17 a month. So inexpensive and so worth that expense. And then get educated. There's a nonprofit organization called lifehappens.org, and you can go on the web and give that a look. And they have calculators in there as well, where you can put in your mortgage and how many kids you have and your income, and it'll kind of give you an idea of how much life insurance you should look at. So that's lifehappens.org. Give that a look. And that's it for my slide today. Do we have any questions?
That was great information. I got questions for you up the wazoo. But if people have any specific questions, they should definitely write them in. And so you said term and perm, and I've talked to other professionals and they said sometimes you have both.
Yes.
Can you go into that and why I might buy both of them?
That's great, Maggie. So I personally have both. So here's my story is when I first got married, I did just $250,000 worth of term. My husband is former military, so we did USAA and just got life insurance. We didn't even really know what we needed or what we had. So we did the 250. And then when I got in the business, I was thinking, oh, this is crazy. $250,000, 3 kids, that would never be enough. So when I was 40, we bought a $1 million 20-year term. So my $1 million is going to go until I'm 60. But then what we did is we layered on a permanent policy, and it's actually a John Hancock, and it's called Universal Life. And what that means is it's going to go my whole life. It's going to go until I pass away, as long as I pay that premium. And I put a long-term care rider on top of that universal life policy. So now what I have, once that $1 million goes off the table when I'm 60, then I'm going to have a $500,000 bucket of money that I could use. If I pass away, it's going to go to my children, or I could use it for long-term care. So that's great. Thank you for bringing that up.
Of course, yeah, and long-term care is another great topic and also very expensive, so that money can really be valuable.
Yes.
But that's a whole nother conversation.
Another Monday.
And so how do people know if they have life insurance from work, if they need more?
I would always recommend that clients have an individual personal policy in addition to the group policy. In this past year with the pandemic, we had so many friends that lost their jobs. And unfortunately, they're in their early to mid 50s. And so they lost their jobs, they lost their life insurance, and now they're a 50-year-old, let's say, male going out and trying to get life insurance. So not only is it expensive, even if you're healthy, they thought they had more coverage, and now they have no coverage.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
It is.
Because when you leave the job, you lose that insurance.
Most of the time you do. There are a few instances where you can take it with you, but it's not being subsidized by the company, so it is very expensive.
Okay, that makes sense. And so if, let's say your kids are grown and you don't have a mortgage, do you still need life insurance?
You know, there's needs and there's wants, right? You know, if somebody is going to be affected by you passing away and they were not going to be able to live in the house or be able to take care of themselves, then yes, you do need life insurance. You know, we work in a very high net worth income bracket too, where those clients need life insurance to pay their estate taxes. So there's death protection, and then there's estate tax paying, and then there's leaving a legacy. I worked with a client who wanted to leave $1 million to her daughters. That she just felt that to be her need. Her mother passed away when she was young, and she was left money. So she wants to leave $1 million to her 2 daughters. So for her, term insurance wouldn't make sense. You would need permanent insurance.
That would be a lovely legacy for someone to leave
yes.
behind. And so, you know, again, like you said, it's, you know, it's always your personal choice at the end of the day. But is there any time that you just don't need insurance anymore?
You know, there is, and unfortunately, the time when people don't get insurance is when they're too old or too sick. And unfortunately, a lot of people that come to us want insurance when they're old and sick. And so that's tragic. You know, they either waited too long to try to get life insurance or their life insurance ran out. I would, you know, even single people that maybe aren't married or don't have children, sometimes they want to leave life insurance and they want to leave it to a charity or they want to leave it to a friend. Certainly there's a benefit. Or if they own property with someone, then they could get life insurance to make sure that mortgage is paid. So with life insurance, you need to be financially underwritten as well as medically underwritten. So there needs to be some financial loss.
That makes sense. And I really like that you shared about how much that life insurance was for that young lady who passed away. I mean, $17 a month is very budgetable. It's not like 117 or, you know, something outrageous.
Right. Yeah. When you put it into perspective like that, I actually heard a lady speak too, and her father had passed away when she was young, and she calls life insurance blessed money. And, you know, when you turn around and you think about it like that, you know, if God forbid something happens to a parent or a family member, and then there's a life insurance beneficiary payout, that is blessed money because your family members and your loved ones can go on and they can heal and they can still afford to live.
And it's hard because we never really want to talk about death or the chances of us dying randomly, but there's random car crashes. I mean, there's planes falling from the sky. Like, it's nuts, you know, it could be anything in the world. And so, you know, plan for the worst, hope for the best.
There you go. Plan and protect. My 2 things I always say. And, you know, it's funny because nobody wants to talk about life insurance. You know, I'll go to a party and people will say, oh, don't talk to her. She does life insurance. Don't make eye contact. And, you know, and it's sad, but it is so necessary. And I think if we can get rid of that stigma and just look at the actual costs and look at what it really is, you know, we have no problem, you know, doing cell phone insurance, car insurance. We have no problem doing all that insurance. So we shouldn't have a problem insuring ourselves.
Right. And like you said, I mean, the GoFundMe it's not enough protection for your family.
No.
It's not long-term by any means. And I was blown away when I learned that a basic funeral can be like $10,000. I was blown away. I had no idea it was so expensive to die. And so some of those GoFundMe is like, and that's all it covers, which is great. That was covered. But, you know, if you're a stay-at-home parent, you lost, you know, your chef, your person who does your laundry, your caretaker. And so would it just been worth it? You know, it's so hard to see.
Yeah, it is. And especially, I want to do a shout out to Stephanie McCullough. She's with Sophia Financial, and she wrote an excellent piece on do stay-at-home moms need life insurance? And it's on the Purse Strings website. And that is so important because I will meet with moms and they'll say, well, I don't have any income, so I don't really need any life insurance. It's like, wait a minute, to replace you would be millions of dollars. So that's a great piece if you can check that out.
I think she wrote in that article, I'm gonna mix up the number. It was either $117,000 or $170,000 a stay-at-home mom's job would be worth to replace. And it's just for somebody who doesn't bring in income, you know, they're still saving you a ton of money because they're doing so much work in the family. So it's not anybody can do that job, you know. It's an expensive job people are, you know, taking over if something happens to the family.
We had a young family in our neighborhood pretty recently after I got into the business too, and she didn't have life insurance and she passed away. And he, you know, the GoFundMe happened, all the casseroles and all the food came to the door, but then he had to go back to work and those poor kids needed him. And I just kept saying, if he would have had $1 million coming in from a life insurance policy from her death, he could have quit his job. He could have been there emotionally, financially, everything supportive for those children, and it would have changed how everything was. But so the GoFundMe happened, the neighborhood rallied, but then they had to sell the house, and then they had to move back east to go be with family, and then he had to go to work. So it was very sad, very sad.
Yeah, the whole relocation and everything. And with that, there's so much money sometimes that's left behind that really helps kids go to school. And if they choose not to go to school, that, you know, that's a down payment for their first home, which we talk about a lot, is like, you know, the American dream, and a big way to have generational wealth is buying a house. And so that could just be a good down payment to get started, which, like, my brother just bought a house and both my parents are just so proud of him, you know, like he's growing up, and you know, that's exactly what a past parent would want as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is blessed money for sure. There's Dr. Barb.
Oh, what a great conversation. I love it. And yeah, I mean, we can't say it enough. Life insurance for women is really critical. They are, you know, they have so much value in life and in families, and it's irreplaceable, but the life insurance can certainly help.
Absolutely. And I'm happy to look at anybody's policies. I am here to be a resource. It is my passion for protection. So if you have in-force policies and you want to call me, we can look at screenshots. We can talk about what you have, how much you're paying. Maybe you're paying too much. If you have enough coverage, let's just review everything.
Yeah.
And Dina, do you get paid by the way what plans they purchase, or how does a client pay you?
That's a great question. So the carriers pay us a commission on the life insurance policy, and it doesn't cost more to buy from a broker. So you have to have a broker or someone, an agent, a licensed agent, to sell the policy. So it doesn't cost any more, and the carrier pays me a little bit of commission for just selling the policy and being the resource. And then I have all the carriers too, so that's really important to shop the market and know what you're getting. Make sure you're getting the least expensive premium too.
I do have one more question. If somebody were to get a life insurance payout, let's say $1 million, do they have to pay taxes on that?
No, life insurance is tax-free, and so is long-term care. Long-term care monthly benefits are tax-free as well. So it's kind of sad. You either have to die or you have to be really sick in order to get tax money. It's like,
That's when you need it.
That's amazing.
There you go.
Well, it's awesome to know that somebody can work with you, kind of have their hand held through this process, and it's not like they have to pay you a dime either. They're getting the same quality, even if they looked at it online. So anyone can really reach out to Dina and use her great skills and her great mind to, you know, really help your family plan of, you know, what's the best plan for you, which is awesome. Dina is through BGA Insurance. You can always be contacted at dinam@bgainsurance.com. She's also one of our wonderful Purse Strings approved providers. So she is on our Purse Strings website as well, pursestrings.co. So thank you so much, Dina, for starting our Monday morning with life insurance.
Yay.
Yeah, we were talking about how we got to get this protection before we all go out and travel and get back out there. We got to focus, get it done. We can go play then.
There you go. Good job.
There we go.
Good night. Good.
Yep, perfect. Thank you so much. We'll see everyone next Monday.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.